Happy Friday. And guess what? And now the good news. How exciting is that? Good news, great things here on a Friday night just to warm the soul as we get all involved in this fall season here. Well, our first story is quite interesting, actually. I had no idea that there was a moth that looked like a wasp. No idea. So, this is the first nature reserve to record 10,000 species in the UK, thanks to a moth that looks like a wasp. Nature Reserve has become the first in the UK to record 10,000 species with the discovery of a unique moth that imitates a wasp. The Natural Trust's Wicken Fen in Cambridgeshire, England, hit the total when a rare species of moth, the six-belted clearwing, was recorded on the reserve for the first time. It has six yellow stripes on its black abdomen to mimic the appearance of a venomous wasp, which aids in warning off predators. Recent finds at the National Nature Reserve include the formidable ant beetle, a scarce plant in the pea family called grass vetchling, and another moth, the evocatively titled chamomile shark. New bird records include a white-tailed eagle that roosted for one night in 2022 and a white stork that has been seen several times in summer of 2023. Reaching 10,000 recorded species is a proud achievement for everyone who has ever taken an interest in this special corner of the country, said Alan Kell, a manager at the National Trust. When the UK conservation charity National Trust bought Wicken Fen in 1899 for a paltry 15 bucks, 11 or 10 pounds, it was only 2 acres in size, but the nonprofit has spent 126 years expanding and caring for it, creating a wildlife haven covering 2,026 acres. Bravo, UK. Like, what a great thing to do. That is beautiful. And what a unique moth. Whoa. All right. A female archaeologist uncovers lost land bridge that may rewrite European history. Stretches of land now hidden underneath the sea may have given early humans a way to move between what is today Turkey and Europe, according to groundbreaking new research in this little studied region. The recently published study reveals the first evidence of Paleolithic activity in Ivalic and may reshape how scientists understand our species' journey into Europe. The prehistoric peopling of Europe has long been documented as occurring in waves from the western edge of Eurasia. For decades, experts believed that Homo sapiens reached Europe mainly by traveling through the Balkans and the Levant, moving from Africa into the Middle East. However, the discovery of 130 stone tools spread across 10 sites within a 200-kilometer square area suggests a different possibility. According to a study published in the peer-reviewed Journal of Island and Coastal Archaeology, long before Avalik became known for its olive groves and seaside scenery, this part of the northeastern Aegean coast, now in Turkey, may have served as another key passageway for ancient humans exploring a shifting prehistoric world. It was a truly unforgettable moment for us, holding the first tools in our hands, as both emotional and inspiring. It was a female archaeologist in Turkey who actually found this, Dr. Karahan, uh, who was part of the fully female-led team. And each find from there was a moment of excitement for the whole team. So you can imagine, as an archaeologist, finding something totally new, like that's got to be the epitome of joy. Like, wow, that's like winning the World Series. There's a game on tonight. I'm from Toronto, and Toronto's playing Seattle. All right, and you probably already know that. So one more story before we take a news break. A library is rescuing historic treasures trapped on old floppy disks from the digital dark ages. Remember floppy disks? Yes, yes, yes. Cambridge University archivists are leading an important project to extract and conserve valuable information from floppy disks before they become unusable. The initiative began when the archive received a box of 5.25-inch floppy disks from a DOS formatted computer that belonged to none other than physicist dun, 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 Stephen Hawking, who was able to use early computers despite his disability from ALS. The challenges a group of archivists encountered when they attempted to read the discs helped them realize how vulnerable this funny, briefly adopted technology, which predates compact disc, is to the ravages of time, and how a clock was ticking to get important information off them before they become unusable. It spawned a project aptly named in our current pop culture environment, Future Nostalgia. Before the term was chased from the historical lexicon with torches and pitchforks, the Dark Ages were used to describe the period in European history when primary source writings are particularly scant, between the fall of Rome and the Middle Ages. The Future Nostalgia Project presents the case that the late 20th century may form a sort of dark ages from historians in the future when they look back on our time and see a big hole in early computer writings. Certainly, books and magazines and newspapers are available, but if floppy disks and other early technologies aren't kept in good order, early computer writings may seem sparse to future historians. So this seems like a big project, but I think it's an important project. Well, we're going to take a little commercial break and we'll be back in just about 2 minutes with more good news for your Friday night.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Laura Mock as the presence of love, Maria Hartman, knowing truth, Wendy Wilson as the quality of presence, and Lara Brzezinski as the essence of joy. It's all love, a space where we open into the heart, tap into the soul's deep wisdom, and enter into the energy of love, truth, presence, and joy. It's all love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
And now more good news. I'm Barbara Jean. I don't think I said that earlier, but I'll say it now. You probably know who I am anyway, right? My name's underneath me. All right, so our next story, a female-led Arab team turn coffee and plastic waste into activated carbon, capturing CO2 in the atmosphere. This is cool. A new technology utilizing coffee and plastic waste is designed to capture carbon dioxide from industrial processes before it's released into the atmosphere and has been patented by scientists. The highly novel and detailed method, with promising potential to reduce environmental pollution, utilizes a blend of spent coffee grounds, polyethylene terephthalate, and potassium hydroxide, a strong alkaline chemical. The components together form an effective material for CO2 absorption. Globally, an estimated 8 million tons of spent coffee greens are grounds are discarded annually, mostly ending up in landfills where they emit methane and other greenhouse gases. PET is a member of the polyester family and widely used in consumer packaging. Potassium hydroxide serves as a powerful activating agent in the process, enhancing the material's ability to trap carbon. What begins with a Starbucks coffee cup and a discarded plastic water bottle can become a powerful tool in the fight against climate change through the production of activated carbon. She said the process operates at an activation temperature of 600 degrees Celsius, much lower than conventional thermal recycling methods for plastic, and emphasized that the patent presents significant findings in the synthesis of activated carbon from waste materials and the waste to resource approach that underpins the technology. Activated carbon is used in a broad spectrum of industrial and consumer products, including gas purification and drinking water filtration, as well as swimming pool, aquarium, wastewater, and sewage treatment systems. So, this could be a very good thing environmentally. Oh, the women of this world are doing good work. Well, so are the men. All right, here's a funny one. This is a good looking outhouse, actually. I lived on a farm as a child for a while. Our outhouse did not look like this. Anyway, mushroom powered outhouse in University Garden composts waste with no smell. We didn't have that in our outhouse either. No smell, I mean. Scientists have used the root system of mushrooms to create a composting toilet that is odor absorbing while creating over 2,000 liters of fertilizer and soil a year. Separating solids from liquids and processing each in different ways using fungi mycelia, the toilet can currently be found in the University of BC Botanic Gardens. Called the Myco Toilet, it was developed by Stephen Nallum, a professor of microbiology at UBC, and Joseph Dahman, the project's lead and an associate professor at the University School of Architecture. Together, they hope to rethink a product and system that many people take for granted, starting with their students, most of whom were unable to answer the question, what happens to human waste after the toilet is flushed? Have you ever asked that question? I have never asked that question. We wanted to turn a daily routine everyone knows into a pleasant experience that reminds us of our connection to ecological cycles. The waterless toilet separates liquid from solid human waste, with the solids ending up in a mycelia-lined compartment where laboratory tests say 90% of the odor-causing components are eliminated. The feces are then converted slowly but surely into soil. 600 liters of which can be generated in a year of use, and with the liquid waste creating some 2,000 liters of liquid fertilizer. Not all wastewater treatment plants in the US or the world can produce fertilizer from the waste they collect. In many instances, it's merely sanitized with the regulatory limits and then dumped into the sea or rivers in the form of one of the least pleasant words in the English language, effluent. Waste is the function of our values, and if we can rethink what we value in this context, there's lots of useful material in these effluents that we can recover that then we're adding value back and creating more circular model for the economy and our lives. Better for the environment and better for us. Very, very cool. There's a lot of stuff about environment and things tonight. So this is a good night, Friday, October 17th. All right, so 4 dams are set for removal in Maine, and this will open up hundreds of miles of river for salmon, herring, and sturgeon. In Maine, ownership of 4 large dams has been transferred to the Nature Conservancy. In a sale, it hopes will return the river they operate on into prime habitat for salmon for the first time in a century. Operated by Brookfield Renewables, the dams along the lower Kennebec River prevent ocean-going freshwater fish like salmon from accessing ancestral spawning grounds upriver. On September 15th, 2025, the Nature Conservatory and Brookfield signed a purchase and sale agreement for the 4 dams totaling $138 million. The Kennebec River is fed by Sandy River in the heart of Maine before running down to the Gulf of Maine past the towns of Skowhegan and Waterville. And the Weston, Shawmut, Hydro-Kennebec, and Lockwood dams are located in intervals along this stretch called the Lower Kennebec. The federal regulatory process for decommissioning a dam, as seen in the recent parallel in California, where 4 dams were removed to make way for salmon, needed more than 5 years from start to finish. As a result, TNC will look to gather another $30 million in funding to create a nonprofit that will manage and oversee the decommissioning process, during which the dams could continue to generate power for 5 to 10 years. That would include working with Sappi North America, whose Somerset Mill located between the town of Shawinigan and Shawmut Dam, and to find a solution to the company's long-term water needs, which are currently met by this dam. So we've got some work to do to get it all together, but just imagine down the road the benefits that will come from this. So this is very exciting. Okay, this one is kind of unusual. Scientists cultivate metal instead of 3D printing it, and it's 20 times stronger. Hmm. Swiss researchers have pioneered a method of cultivating metal out of water-based gel, an innovation that promises valuable applications in energy technology. The concept aims to power the production of unique sensors, biomedical devices, or energy conversion and storage components. Scientists in Switzerland have created dense, high strength structures by injecting hydrogel with metal salts of various minerals like iron and copper. Early results show materials 20 times stronger with much less shrinkage than earlier methods. As novel a concept as the cultivating metal sounds like, it's actually been done before, but challenges presented themselves which could not be overcome in these previous experiments. They involved that photopolymerization, a type of 3D printing that sees pouring a light reactive liquid resin into a container and then solidifying specific areas with a laser or ultraviolet light to create a shape. However, because this method only works with light sensitive polymers, its practical uses are limited. Daryl Yee, who leads the laboratory for the chemistry of materials and manufacturing at EPFL's School of Engineering, said these earlier approaches have major flaws. These materials tend to be porous, which significantly reduces their strength, and the parts suffer from excessive shrinkage. To address these issues, Yi and his team have introduced a new approach described in their paper published in Advanced Materials. Instead of hardening a resin already mixed with metal components, the researchers first 3D print a framework using a simple water-based gel known as a hydrogel. They then soak this blank structure in metal salts, which are chemically converted into tiny metal-containing nanoparticles that spread through the gel. Repeating this process multiple times allows them to create composites with very high metal content. After 5 to 10 of these growth cycles, the remaining hydrogel is removed through heating, leaving behind a dense metal or ceramic object that precisely matches the shape of the original printed gel. Because the metal salts are added only after printing, the same hydrogel template can be used to make a variety of different metals, ceramics, or composite materials. How cool is that? We can cultivate metal now. We live in a world of really remarkable people who do truly remarkable things. Okay, a nation that's 90% rainforest announces new protections for over 25 million acres. Yeah. Huge news broke recently when a country with more intact forests than any other on Earth decided that 90% of all forest cover would be preserved by law. Yes, conserved by law. Made in New York in advance of a UN summit that will see the party members of the Framework Conference on Climate Change meet for the 30th time, the decision was heralded as a major step in the effect to protect 30% of all natural landscapes on the Earth. The nature in question was Suriname, the former Dutch colony located on the northern coast of South America, bordering Brazil to the south and Guyana to the west. Famous for containing vast tracts of Amazon rainforest, Ministry of Foreign Affairs Buva made the announcement on behalf of the recently elected president. We understand and accept the immense responsibility for stewarding over 15 million hectares of tropical rainforest. And it is because of this responsibility that we are envisioning an economy that is powered by our rich forests and biodiversity. 90% of the country is covered in rainforests, typical of the Amazon basin, the world's largest rainforest and an ecosystem that spans 9 countries. As a result, it's one of 3 states that register as carbon sinks, meaning they absorb more carbon dioxide than they emit. The decision comes at a time when deforestation in Suriname is on the rise, but losses basin wide are falling substantially. Rewild, a conservation organization working actively in the Amazon and other South American landscapes, reports that more than 700 birds, 100 species of amphibians, and more charismatic mammals, such as lowland tapirs, jaguars, giant river otters, and 8 different primates, range throughout the country. So creating this safe and sacred space, I think, is a really brilliant move. It's good for our planet. It's good for humanity. Let's put it that way. Let's just call it what it is. It is a very good idea. All right. So we've been sharing stories from the Good News Network, and now I've got a couple from Sunny Skies. So this is a sweet moment. A volunteer and a search dog find a missing 2-year-old. After a tense search in the small town of Dorchester in New Hampshire, a missing 2-year-old girl was found safe thanks to a dedicated volunteer and his absolutely loyal search dog. That's a cute puppy. Late Friday afternoon, New Hampshire Fish and Game and State Police received a call about a missing toddler who had been gone for more than 45 minutes. The little girl had been playing in her fenced front yard with 2 dogs when the gate somehow opened, either by the dogs or the child herself, and she wandered off. Within hours, nearly 100 volunteers joined the search effort, combining the woods and surrounding areas. Among them was Jeremy Corson and his canine partner, Freya, from New England, Canine Search and Rescue. Together, they were the ones who found the girl. It was a very sweet moment, Corson recalled. You're able to scoop her up and start asking her questions, making some assessments. And the first thing she said to me was, I'm cold. I think I'm ready for a bath. And that just broke my heart, he said. I'm like, all right, let's get you home and have that bath. According to Fish and Game officials, the child wasn't hurt and was happy to see Freya when she was found. She was carried to a waiting ambulance and taken to Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center for evaluation. Conservation officers Chris McKee praised the massive community effort that led to the safe recovery. Without the volunteers and all other agencies that were there, it might not have had a happy ending like it did. That is such good news. Those parents must have been so relieved. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Sunny Skies again. Beloved 3rd grade teacher and her entire class get Disney on Ice surprise. So she's always the one lifting others up, but this time her students got to see her celebrated in the most magical way. Talia Marley, known among staff and students for her kindness and dedication, was being honored by East Idaho News in partnership with Ashley and Ashley Outlet of Idaho Falls for always making a difference. Talia is the kind of teacher who goes above and beyond, first to volunteer, first to help, and always focused on making life better for those around her. During the surprise visit, she was presented with flowers, a box of chocolates, and a gift card for dinner. But the surprises didn't stop there. When Disney on Ice heard about her story, they decided to spread the magic even further by giving Talia and every single student in her class tickets to the show. For Talia, teaching is about much more than academics. She says it's important to build relationships with them in their personal lives, showing up for their football games, basketball games, dances, theater, all that stuff. Her students say they feel that love every day. And it's really fun because that means we can count on her to do anything for us, one student shared. How sweet a story is that? Oh, I love it. I love it. See, doing good stuff actually matters. All right. So this story, yes, 101-year-old woman who still goes to work 6 days a week shares her life advice. Are you ready? In a world where most people dream of retirement, Anne Angeletti is living proof that passion and purpose can keep you going and glowing well past 100. At 101 years old, Anne still runs her own jewelry business, Curiosity Jewelry in Cresskill, New Jersey, alongside her daughter and granddaughter. 6 days of work, 6 days a week, she can be found zipping through New York's Diamond District, chatting with vendors and handpicking pieces for her loyal customers. So, what's the secret behind her lifelong success and happiness? You'll have to hear it from Anne herself, and trust us, it's worth it. Do you have that video, Dea? Look at her. It's amazing to think of what she's seen change in her lifetime compared to then to now. And it's remarkable. I mean, she looks really, really good. She's still basically a young woman. Anyway, that's the good news for this Friday, October the 17th. I hope you found the stories interesting and uplifting. And I know for me,
And she's
oh,
always looking
she's
out
got the
for her
video.
customers.
Make it straight.
Anne is no stranger to hard work. As a child, she left school to help out at her family grocery store in Brooklyn. Her dad sold ice door to door in a horse-drawn cart. This was before refrigeration was even invented.
Don't forget, I'm 100.
101 to be exact, but who's counting? This is a lady who was 80 20 years ago and continues to run her own business, Curiosity Jewelry in Cresskill, with her daughter and granddaughter.
If I retire, I would die. So I cannot stay home.
United States troops are on the move.
She hasn't stayed home since her husband went off to fight World War II and rolled up her sleeves and went to work at the Navy Yard, then as a waitress. But she always had a passion for fashion.
How many days a week do you come to work?
6. My store is open 5 days. And Monday, I go into the city.
So we asked the secret to her success. Rule number 1, self-care.
Must get up. You must shower. You must eat. You must take care of yourself.
And don't forget to find your happiness.
If you don't like what you're doing, then change.
The centenarian says always focus on building relationships first.
I love that. So live your passion, live your dream, and keep moving. Don't just sit around and don't do anything. Well, everybody, that's the good news for this here Friday night, October 17th. And I hope she inspires some or all of you to really take good care of yourself, because if you don't do you, you won't get done. Anyway, have a beautiful, marvelous week. Know that you are loved and appreciated. I'm Barbara Jean, and I'll see you again next time. You've been watching the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now.